Shalom travelers, welcome back to another episode of Nomad Travel Adventures. This is Simon here and I am on my third day in Israel. So today I think what we've got planned is just going through the old city of Jerusalem. Really I wanted to focus in on the tomb of Jesus. It's kind of a controversy because some people are saying that it's in the church and some people are saying it's in the garden tomb. So we're going to check both of those sites out. We'll probably also do the Mount of Olives, and that's supposedly where Jesus ascended into the heavens. So I think we're probably just going to explore the old city for a little bit, go through the markets, that sort of thing. It's really busy. I did the 2 tours in my previous 2 days, and you guys can check that video out by clicking on the card above. The tours were really great, but now I'm happy to just be kind of going at my own pace. If you haven't already done so, do subscribe to my channel, and I've got a lot more travel videos coming up, so I want you guys to stay tuned for that. So yeah, I think it should be a really fun day. It was my third day in Israel. This time, I would try to tackle the ancient city of Jerusalem and the mysteries behind its depths. My main goal would be to uncover the lost tomb of Jesus and to find out the real place from which he actually resurrected. The controversy behind the 2 possible locations brought me to my first destination before entering the old city, the Garden Tomb. So, weirdly enough, I was walking towards the old city, and I saw on the map that we were already by the Garden Tomb, so we just kind of ran into it. People say that Jesus may have actually been buried here, instead of where everyone thinks, which is in the church in the old city. So, you ready? Entering the Garden Tomb, I had a feeling of anticipation since this was one of the places where it was speculated that Jesus might have been buried. Entrance was free, however they did accept donations and gave you a general map of the site when first coming in. One of the first things I saw was Skull Hill, the spot where Jesus might have been crucified. The nickname comes from the fact that you can see the 2 eyes from the skull shape on the hill. Next, we headed to the actual tomb where Jesus might have been buried. As I arrived, there was already a pack of tourists coming and going from the holy site. Once inside, it was really small and the tomb was fenced in and covered with a red mark that looked like a cross. With a lot more ground to cover and the rest of the day ahead of me, I decided it was time to leave. So I am currently sitting right by the tomb, the place where it's kind of speculated that Jesus was buried in. I really actually enjoyed this one a lot. We went to the church on my first day here. You can check that video out by clicking on the card above. It just felt a lot more peaceful, and it's interesting to note that the Bible said that he was actually buried next to a garden. So this could very well be the place where he was buried. But I think now we're going to probably just head into the old city and check out the other place. Walking over to the old city, the streets of Jerusalem really started to pick up. There were merchants and pedestrians everywhere, and pretty soon I stumbled onto Damascus Gate, which would be my entry point into the old city. There, you could pretty much buy anything in the markets, from food to clothing. I watched in awe as merchants would haggle with pedestrians, trying to get them to purchase their items. We continued checking out the market before entering onto the holy street of Via Dolorosa, where there was a congregation of people walking through the Stations of the Cross.
Welcome
The energy surrounding this area was really intense, as you could hear chanting of believers from all around the world. But I had to keep my goal in mind, so I kept walking. Passing by the streets, I saw a multitude of cats without owners and what looked like people bringing in merchandise through wheelbarrow carts. It was interesting to note the chaos of the masses passing through these narrow streets, and it felt like I was even getting lost, until I finally saw a sign that said I had arrived at destination number 2, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So we are about to enter the second place where they believed that Jesus was buried. So let's go check it out. As you can see, people come from all over the world just to touch it. I think I'm probably going to do the same, because if I'm here, I might as well, right? The Stone of Anointing, the spot where Jesus' body was prepared for burial. Millions come to touch it, believing it has sacred powers. So we just touched the place where they actually prepared the body. I think I'm going to take you through first where he got crucified, which is upstairs, and then the last place I'm going to take you to is where the actual tomb was. If you head upstairs, you can actually see the place where the crucifixion happened, also known as Calvary or Golgotha. Be prepared to wait a while, as the line can be pretty long to get a closer look at the altar that was built on the spot where it supposedly happened. Once done, head back down to see the rest of the site. Down the corner over here, we've got the tomb, so let's go see it. Once we arrived to the actual tomb, there was the longest line just to be able to catch a glimpse inside. The structures made waiting a lot more fun, and once inside, it was really dark with candles lighting the altar surrounding the tomb. Okay, so you got to go inside. There were actually no photos supposed to be taken, but it was a video, so I didn't really feel that bad being sneaky about it. And it took way longer than it needed to, about 30 minutes just to be able to get inside, but I guess it was worth it. So now I think we are going to go to the Western Wall and kind of check that area out a little bit, and then hopefully we'll make it to the Mount of Olives. Back in the streets of Jerusalem, I walked past the shops and out into the area that would lead us into the Western Wall, also known as the Wailing Wall. One of the holiest sites in Jewish faith, you can see people praying and touching the wall. After exploring the site, I headed off to the next place on my list. But now I think we have to hurry because it is almost time for sundown, and I really want to make it to the Mount of Olives. So this is where Jesus supposedly ascended into heaven. It's very, very cool, and I am very excited to show you. So let's go. Departing from Jaffa Gate, I headed into the other side of Old City Jerusalem. There was something incredibly spiritual about this city. For some reason, Jerusalem had stood out as a holy city for 3 of the most important religions of the world. It wasn't just Christians that flocked to see the amazing sights of this city, but those of Jewish and Muslim faith as well. Every religion wanted a piece of Jerusalem, and it wasn't hard to see why. There was something very mystical about this ancient city, and as I got closer to the place where Jesus ascended into heaven, I came across a fenced-off garden and was greeted by a friendly tour guide instructing me to come inside. Little did I know that I was paying a visit to the infamous Garden of Gethsemane and the church that was built in honor of this holy site. This was the garden where Jesus came to meditate right before he was taken to be crucified. This is also the place where Judas would reveal himself as a betrayer by giving Jesus a kiss to help identify him and take him to the authorities. The garden, though, seemed to have been well kept and in almost perfect conditions. I saw plenty of trees with lots of olives still growing. The peaceful air surrounding it almost made it hard to imagine the story of what once happened there. So we took a little detour through the gardens where Jesus actually was praying right before he got betrayed by Judas. It is really well preserved. You can see that the olive trees are still growing olives, and it's just really incredible. But now I think we are gonna finally head up to the Mount of Olives. So Stairway to heaven, literally. There are so many steps, so if you're coming, get ready. I had finally arrived at the place that would conclude my trip to Israel. In a way, this had renewed my faith, not in a particular religion, but in life overall. Miracles had occurred here, and if I could catch a piece of this, I would somehow be renewed. The air was crisp as I entered the Chapel of Ascension. It was everything I thought it would be. Feeling lighter than air, it felt like I too would start to ascend. So guys, we made it. This is where he ascended into heaven. So you can see there's like a small little mosque thing. This is actually the remains of a Byzantine church, so it's really, really old. Can't believe I'm here. It feels really, really awesome because we're on top of pretty much everything. And it's just really peaceful. So yeah, I think we're gonna go back down and then show you a little bit more of the city, and then I'll probably call it a night. Heading back down, it felt pretty amazing to have witnessed places I had only read about. Being at the very top, looking down at the city, I felt like something had changed within me. Jerusalem had taught me that the earth has music for those who listen, and it showed me the true value of faith and what it means to believe in something beyond ourselves. Okay, so I took like this turn somewhere, and I'm in, I don't know, it seems like it's a square or something. Like you can see it's pretty abandoned, but there is a couch right there. And I'm going to just sit because the sun is setting, and just kind of take a look at my view. Like, it's really amazing. I'm just gonna watch it be sunset, and then yeah, it's gonna be a great end to my trip here. Stay tuned for more. If you haven't subscribed, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button below. I will be posting a video later on because I'm going to Tel Aviv tomorrow, so it'll be me taking on Tel Aviv. Yeah, if you guys have any comments or anything about this video, you can like it, or just let me know what you guys thought. Which tomb do you think is the real one? Yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. This is Nomad. I'm signing out. See ya! Like my videos? Subscribe for more.